to any choice, as any person enter the hunger strike. After a few days, just 3 or 4 days, you have be difficult for you to move. It's became much difficult to live as normal life. Your body became more pitiful, more weak. Gradually, the body became
what about your mind as well, sir? Because you're talking about physical weakness, I understand that. How do you mentally carry on?
After 30, I have been in the hunger strike for 18 days. Right. I can describe it very well. But I think after 31 days, the serious dangers started in the life of the prisoners. The body became despised about his parties gradually. Get rid from the hair, for example, from the nails, from the teeth, gradually, and after a while, we will not be shocked, or we will not be surprised when we heard at any time that there is some prisoners dead because the hunger strike. After 18 days, from my experience, it was difficult for me to move, to go easily to do anything. For example, to go to bathroom or to take shower, or to do this simple things in my life.
Okay, Ayad Mora, thank you so much for joining us today, giving us that first-hand knowledge of your situation. Sarah Khairat's now with us to look at the online reaction to that. I know that, well, this resonates with a lot of people, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the chatter has been mainly from those showing solidarity with the hunger strikes. People are using several hashtags. The main one is in Arabic. It's Idrab el-Karama, which means dignity strike. You can see just there it's in Arabic and in English. And these are two symbols that people have been using as their picture for Twitter in solidarity. But the other hashtag they're using is Palestinian political prisoner and il-Mizan. Now, these pictures here are said to have been taken a few hours ago. They were just outside the United Nations building in Ramallah, and protesters are accusing the UN of failing to implement its own laws to protect prisoners in Israeli jails. And Jihan, she tweeted this photo. It's graffiti on the wall in Arabic, and it means that it's our hunger is our dignity. So a reminder there of people that are standing out and standing in solidarity for those Palestinians. And some tweets are urging people not to forget the prisoners on the hunger strike. This photo here says the hunger strike continues and the situation is very dangerous at the moment. It's 31 days now, and this tweet also here has that same exact message, and you can see it has a warning sign. Again, a reminder that several people have basically been fasting for so long, and it's come to a really critical stage now. And many people are wanting to help the prisoners in their plight, but they feel that not enough is being done enough by the international community. Others point to the finger at the Palestinian authorities for not taking enough action. And this tweet here is actually calling on the members of the public to take action rather than just observe. Now, Bia also is another person. She's been tweeting about this a lot today. She's been using, again, that hashtag Palestinian political prisoners, and she says that prisoners have asked for basic human rights in all possible ways, but no response. But it's not complete inaction. Now, 2 days ago, some South Africans, including government ministers, they joined in and they fasted for 24 hours. And one of them was the communications minister, Ayanda Dlodlo.
Thankfully, I will not have to go through this for more than 24 hours. Just spare a thought for those that are put through this situation for so long because their lives have been messed up by regimes of brutality with no humanity. Let us think of all those people that are sitting in prisons, in dungeons, with no food because they are making a statement. Support that statement. You were supported in your struggle as a South African people. Thank you.
Now, Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions Movement, or BDS for short, was behind the fasting campaign in South Africa. And it says it's the first time in the country's history that such a significant number of ministers and other government officials are taking part in that hunger strike. And this is their Facebook page here if you're interested to find out more information. And also a member of the public called Khaled in Italy says he's finished his third day of a hunger strike but can't continue. He wrote solidarity with the heroes who face hunger and death with a big smile. And this is said to be in Vancouver. There's been a lot of support again in this Canadian city here. You can see the Battle of the Empty Stomach and people holding a banner there with the Palestinian flag. And this here is in Ireland. The Palestinian flag flew over Dublin City Hall this week. And here are some pictures of New York. These pictures were posted by Solidarity with Palestine group. There's a few that they've posted there. I'll just show you, they've superimposed them onto several buildings in New York. And also from Spain, this person here says that more than 1,600 prisoners' lives are at serious risk and the media is staying silent. And there's, of course, been quite a few cartoons being shared on Twitter as well. This one here in particular took my attention because there's a salt pot there and, of course, a symbol of the prisoners only drinking salty water to stabilise their health while abstaining completely from food. And this one I picked up here. It's from said to be from a newlywed groom. It's a gift to his wife. It says, Mayu Malh, salt and water. It's got the hashtag there. And also, if you just look at the bottom there, you can see some salt and water on that box that's been attached. Now, I'll continue to monitor this story on social media, but if you're planning to do a fast, maybe you want to fast in solidarity with the prisoners, get in touch with me, Kamal as well. We're both on Twitter, and you can use our hashtag AJNewsGrid.
OK, thank you for that, Sarah. Over here at the live wall now, looking at what's happening. Remember I said we hadn't heard from President Donald Trump? That's because he's in Connecticut at the moment. This is the US Coast Guard's training academy. There's a graduation ceremony happening and the president's going to be speaking shortly. We'll monitor it. I suspect he wouldn't be talking about current political events, but you never know, do you? Right, off to London we go. Julie McDonald, hello. Some more international news.
Hi, Kamal. Hi, Kamal, thanks. ISIL's claimed responsibility for an attack on a state TV building in the Afghan city Jalalabad. At least 6 people, including 2 police officers, were killed when armed men entered the TV station and set off bombs. The attackers have been killed and the siege is now over. At least 24 people were injured, many of them journalists working for Afghan radio and television. John Hendren has more now from the capital, Kabul.
It was a complex attack, trademark ISIL style. Police say that a few men went into Radio Television Afghanistan, state TV in Jalalabad. They were wearing suicide vests and carrying AK-47s. They fired up the building. Police killed a couple of them, but were at a standoff with at least 1 other gunman. In the end, all the attackers, we are told, were killed. This all happened in an area where ISIL has been very active. This is in Nangarhar province, where the U.S. military in April dropped a massive ordnance air bomb. That is the largest non-nuclear weapon they have in their arsenal that allegedly killed more than 90 ISIL members. We also know that the U.S. military has been active in that area along with Afghan forces because 3 U.S. military personnel were killed there in April in that province. So in addition to the fighting going on throughout the province, ISIL, which took responsibility for this incident on an affiliated website, apparently went into Jalalabad right next to the governor's building and launched a massive attack.
The Red Cross says it's found 115 bodies after days of fighting in the Central African Republic. The discovery was made in the mining town of Bangassou. Almost 3,000 people fled into the neighbouring Democratic Republic of Congo over the weekend to escape fighting between armed groups. The conflict began in 2013 when rebel fighters seized power and ousted the president. South Korea's president is warning that a military confrontation with North Korea is highly possible. Moon Jae-in says his military is on alert after North Korea's latest missile test, but he hasn't given up hope totally on diplomatic solutions. Andrew Thomas reports now from Seoul.
This is the main hotline South Korea would like to restore. It's in a room on the South Korean side of its border with North Korea. The green phone is for receiving calls from an equivalent room on the other side. The red one is for making them. Set up in 1971, the line was the basic communication tool between the two Koreas. But last February, facing increasing sanctions after a nuclear test, North Korea stopped using their end. Since then, all communication has been cut. South Korea's Unification Ministry says it's actively trying to change that.
The government's most basic position is that, for stability, communications lines between South and North Korea should open. We have come up with several ways to recover the lines between the South and North.
Asked about economic ties, especially this train line between North and South Korea, which was tested in 2007 but hasn't been used since, the spokesman said such links were important and are being reviewed. Overall, despite North Korea's missile test on Sunday, South Korea's new Liberal President Moon Jae-in is keeping the door open for dialogue. One further sign of optimism here is that since their new president was sworn in last week, there's been a spike of inquiries by South Koreans to the Unification Ministry about contacting North Korean residents. Despite the events of the last few days, it seems South Koreans are hopeful that inter-Korean relations will improve. In New York, as the United Nations Security Council met to discuss further sanctions, even the US ambassador suggested talks with Kim Jong-un are still possible.
He has to stop his testing. He has to stop any nuclear programs that he has. The United States, we are willing to talk, but not until we see a total stop of the nuclear process and of any tests there.
South Korean President Moon Jae-in, on his first visit to his defence ministry, said there is still a high possibility of military clashes, but he's not given up on dialogue yet. Andrew Thomas, Al Jazeera, Seoul.
US soldier Chelsea Manning's been released from prison after serving 7 years for leaking sensitive information online. Manning was arrested in Baghdad in 2010 for releasing hundreds of thousands of diplomatic cables and military files to WikiLeaks. Whilst in prison, the intelligence analyst underwent gender transition and changed her name from Bradley. The 35-year sentence was commuted in January by former President Barack Obama. That's it from me. From now, back to Kamal in Doha.
Lovely, Julie. Thank you for that. Get in touch with us. Of course, hashtag is AJ Newsgrid. Had a couple of comments on the Palestinian hunger strike. Aqsa has said on Facebook they don't treat Palestinians with dignity, so why expect them to treat prisoners with any fairness? And on Twitter, Dorian Dickinson said Palestinian prisoners have been on hunger strike for 31 days. Israel will make no concessions. That is not a democracy. Get in touch with us. The hashtag, as ever, is AJ Newsgrid for your comments and your questions. The biggest state bankruptcy in US history. Puerto Rico is asking for relief. In a moment, we're going to visit the territory and find out how it's affecting people there. That's weird. Am I not doing the Tariq Basley Untucked